This is a charity which I have set up, and my motto is happiness through music and the arts.
It's basically our baby. It's more my husband's brainchild.
So if you talk about happiness, happiness is a state of mind. Dig a bit deeper, it's about mental health.
Because we are big time into music, we love our music. So we just thought, why not combine the two together and see what we can come up with.
And it has been proven that music can help in addressing mental health issues.
I think Sangeet Foundation is doing wonderful work in the area of mental health.
Namaskar, I am Bikram Ghosh, and I'd like to congratulate Sangeet Foundation for the wonderful work they're doing.
Let us all get together because Sangeeta Foundation believes in the fact that we can all get together by supporting the performing arts and music. Don't forget about that, please, because music brings the world together.
Sangeet Foundation aims to create awareness about mental health in the South Asian diaspora and use music and the art forms to create this awareness.
I'm very proud to be associated with Sangeet Foundation, who are working relentlessly to increase awareness about mental health through music.
A very warm hello to everyone at Sangeet Foundation. I, Ramanjit Kaur, wish you well on World Mental Health Day.
Sangeet Foundation. All of us require good mental health. We need to support this cause.
Music can give you immense happiness and love. So always be in music.
इस संगीत फाउंडेशन में हमारे साथ जुड़िए और इसका हिस्सा बनिए, इसको शक्ति दीजिए. धन्यवाद.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another fabulous session of Sangeet Foundation. And this time, this is very special. Esha meets Eshani. And we will see the program, and I'm sure you will enjoy this. I'm Jayanta Ray from Sangeet Foundation. So we've shown a short video about what Sangeet Foundation is all about. So what we will be doing is we will get into this show. And what I would like to do, today's host is Esha Chakravarti. Esha Chakravarti is a cancer researcher working in the field of antibody drug development in ovarian cancer. Her research focuses on development of novel cancer drugs with less toxic effects. Being trained in Bharata Natyam for 14 long years, Esha started taking an interest in alternative therapies along with her mainstream laboratory research. Collaborating with academic organizations in the UK and India, Esha practices dance psychotherapy to support the elderly, cancer patients and the caregivers. Her work is specially encouraged by CMIG under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, and has been recognized under Health Sciences by Gerontology Society of America. So with this, let me get Esha on screen. Esha.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, and so thank you for being here with us as the host today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
So with this, I hand over the session to you, and here you go.
Thank you so much. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Esha, today's host for the program. Esha Meets Eshani. Art is a powerful tool for self-development. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to take you through an hour of wonderful experience through conversation and experiences of visual performances. We have with us today an amazingly talented artist. When I saw her work, I was in awe myself. She is none other than Eshani Lasya, and today I have the sheer privilege of introducing her to all of you. Dancer and visual artist Eshani Lasya She is the director of EKA Dance Company. We can already see her here on the screen. And the co-founder of EKA Unity, which is Lisbon's cutting-edge non-profit organization that is setting trends in alternative arts and cultural scene. Expansive studies in painting, architecture, music, dance, which started with ballet and then eventually branched into yoga, meditation, and the Indian classical traditions of Bharata Natyam and Odissi. Her time spent in Portugal and London saw the unique amalgamation of these interesting influences while working in the multiple domains as a performer, choreographer, as well as educator. Being a multidisciplinary artist for the last years, she has focused her work on the dialogue between dance, painting, architecture, as well as geometry. With EKA Dance Company, her motto is to develop an all-embracing language, including training, production, multidisciplinary experiments, working with the community, including the very innovative and interesting method called NATYOGA, a tool designed for the purpose of self-empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, we warmly welcome Eshani Lasya today. Eshani, thank you so very much for joining us today. It is an absolute pleasure to have you with us on this show. And you know, it is so wonderful. I feel so nice that you have given us your time to share your experiences on views on such an important concept of art being instrumental as a tool for self-development and being instrumental for the purpose of supporting mental health as well. So Eshani, the audience wants to hear you. So after having welcomed you, let me open today's show by asking you the very first question. I know that you are a classical dancer, you know. I've seen your performances in Bharata Natyam and Odissi. They were mind-blowing and simply captivating. So the first question which I would like to ask you today, that what was your inspiration to come into this orthodox domain of classical dances? And over the years when you learned, did this training help you grow mentally as a student?
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank you all for inviting me to be here. Now, answering your question, it is quite strange that me being Portuguese, born and raised in Portugal, fell in love for the culture of India. I don't have an explanation for that, actually. It just happened. Since I was a child, I just felt deeply connected to India somehow. Everything about Indian culture touched my heart very intensely. So since I was a kid, I was very curious to know more about this culture. In Portugal, we have a quite big Indian community. I mean, living in Lisbon, it's where I live, but we didn't have a big expression in terms of Indian arts at the time. So I didn't have any references, but I remember something that created a very strong impression. It happened when I was 8 years old. I was watching a TV program, some documentary about India or something like that. And there was this beautiful Indian Bharata Natyam dancer, and she was doing this dance, and it immediately captivated me. I didn't know anything about what was happening there, but I immediately felt it was a very spiritual kind of dance. It was kind of out of this world. And it created a really, really strong impression. And I still have that memory in my mind. So later on, when I was a teenager, I started wanting to know more about this culture, starting to read books, to research wherever I could. And then I started to practice yoga. And then starting reading some Vedic texts. I had some friends who gave me access to these, to Bhagavad Gita, etc. So my interest in the culture kept growing. And the deeper I could understand this amazing philosophy that came from ancient India, the more I wanted to dive into it. So at the time I was already practicing ballet. I always wanted to be a dancer. So it was just a small jump from ballet to Bharata Natyam. It was the first style I started. So I can say it's interesting because many people start from the dance. They like the dance, they start practicing, and then they discover the culture. In my case, it was the other way around. Because of the culture, I came to the dance because it's all part of the same system of thinking, right? So this is how it started.
So it is so interesting to know about this journey, Eshani, and how you were attracted to this core of Indian classical dances into the Indian culture. This is something very interesting, and what I feel a little curious to know is that, you know, me being a Bharatanatyam dancer, I would find it very challenging to take up something like Odissi at the same time, because I think both the forms are very, very distinct and different in their own set of challenges, in their own style, in their own ways of rendition. So how did you manage? I mean, how do you manage to carry both of them together? And it seems that you enjoy both of them equally at the same time.
Yes, actually it happened, I could say it happened by chance in a sense. I knew Bharatanatyam maybe because it's the most known Indian classical dance style here in the West, at least in Portugal. I have that idea. I didn't know Odissi at all. But then what happened is that I was in a Bharatanatyam workshop with my teacher here in Lisbon, and there were different people from different fields on the workshop. And there was this girl who was an Odissi dancer. She came from Brazil. She had been studying Odissi for many years there, and she came to live in Portugal, and she wanted to start an Odissi group in Portugal. So she came to know the dancers here in Lisbon, and she invited me and some other dancers to be part of this group. None of us knew Odissi at the time, but then we searched, and I thought it was wonderful as well, and I accepted the challenge. So we were the first Odissi group in Portugal. It happened like 15 years ago. And when I started practicing, I realized it was actually a big challenge, as you mentioned, because although these styles seem like not so different, I mean, for people who are not so aware about Indian classical dance, if they watch it, maybe they cannot spot the differences in a first moment, as they also, of course, have a lot in common. But when you are practicing, you feel it in your body. It's completely different because Bharatanatyam is more about rigorous shape, and Odissi is more about flow. So in the beginning, it was hard. It was really hard because I was used to stretch my legs or my arms, and in Odissi, I cannot stretch them. They have to be slightly curved. So it was a big challenge. But I can say after 1 or 2 years, I started doing like a division in my brain. I don't know how to explain this, but it was like I will put the chip for Bharatanatyam and then change it for Odissi. It's like two different. I don't know. It's like maybe when you speak more than one language, you have to switch to one and to the other. So I think that's what happened with dance as well.
I think this is amazing to know, Eshani, and your example will perhaps encourage more classical dancers to take up two forms at the same time, because precisely as you said, that Bharatanatyam is more to do with the shapes and Odissi is more to do with the flow. So it's just like, you know, I mean, having a bilateral chip on your head and like doing that extra bit of hard work to the body used to both the forms. And today here in the show, I'm very keenly and eagerly waiting to see some of your performances in classical forms like Mangalam, Krishna Kahani, and the Rath Yatra teaser, But before we see that, I would like to ask you, Eshani, I'm very fascinated with the character of Krishna, which is like a symbol of love, of compassion, and it sort of occupies a central stage in almost all the Indian classical dance forms, be it Manipuri, be it Odissi, be it Bharata Natyam, anything. So when you are presenting your work to the international audience, what is your methodology of translating these characters of the Indian traditional dances to the larger audience?
Yes, it's a good question, because living in Portugal, of course, we have an Indian audience here, but most people don't know much about this culture. So we really have to find a way of translating it. So what we have been trying to do with our EKA dance company is trying to show all the beauty and richness of Indian culture in different perspectives to this Portuguese or international audience. So mostly what we do is trying to explain it the best we can when we are performing, and we use a lot of theater-like presentation, because I think it's easier for us to tell the story and for people to understand. So, for example, one of the videos that you're going to show now, it's the piece Dasavatara Stotram that we have choreographed, and we use this theater-like style of presenting. So first, there was a live music background, and we had someone telling the story verse by verse, first in English. Most of the audience was not Portuguese, so we decided to do it in English so that everyone could understand. So we would tell one verse in English, and then the Sanskrit version. We will dance to the Sanskrit version. Then again, another verse in English, so that people could accompany it step by step, verse by verse, and they could understand there is a relation between the gestures, the facial expressions, and the story that is being told. And I think it's a method that results because people enjoy it a lot, and it's very frequent that they tell us, oh, it was very important that you explained the meaning of the dance in our language. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand it. I would get just half of it, and like this, I could fully understand and enjoy it.
This is great to know, Eshani, because traditionally these concepts and these styles, they were confined to very, very orthodox domains of the Indian temples, and those domains from where they actually originated, with the Devdasis practicing this dance. And I'm sure that the audience is enriched today to hear your inspirational story of how you have broken those barriers and actually taken them beyond the boundary to the global audience. It's a fantastic thing. It's great to know. And I'll be chatting more with you and knowing more about your views on arts, performing arts, and their impact on mental health. But let us now go to the first set of videos, which we have here. Mangalam, Krishna Kahani, and Rathyatra teaser. So I'll be requesting John Toda to please play these 3 videos now, and then I'll be coming back.
Surya Mangalam, Chandra Mangalam. धृतवानसि वेदम् विहितवहित्र चरित्रमखेदम् विहितवहित्र चरित्रमखेदम् केशवधृता मीन शरीरा केशवधृता मीन शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे.
That was fabulous, and I'm sure the audience enjoyed that a lot. So, without wasting any further time, we'll be moving to the next segment, which is that of fusion. So, before I start talking about this, Eshani, when I saw your composition of Durga, to be honest, I just got goosebumps. It is such an amazing composition, such an amazing composition in depiction of power, in the makeup, and I think it was more closely resembling to one of the goddesses incarnations called Kali, which we have, which is another incarnation of goddess Durga. So, I mean, with this composition, how would you link this particular composition to the empowerment of women?
I feel a strong connection with these aspects of the Devi, Durga and Kali. They are inspiring because they are the very symbol of power. But it's interesting because so many times they are seen as powerful and as having this destructive energy, but at the same time, they are so loving. So they represent this incredible balance between being fighters, warriors, and being the representation of love at the same time. And as we know, every woman is like a representation of that original Shakti. And sometimes that is forgotten, unfortunately, forgotten by many women, but also forgotten a bit all over the world when we see basic human rights are denied to so many women. And even in India, it's true that women have lost many of their rights, but I think it's very, very important to remember that this particular culture in India was born from this understanding that masculine and feminine natures should go together and balance, represented by this principle of Shiva and Shakti. And it is so important that people don't forget about that. We even know that women are also compared to Lakshmi, right? So it is said that in a home where women are treated properly, Lakshmi Devi herself comes and gives prosperity to that home. So these are basic principles that were in the basic layer of Indian society, and unfortunately they are not so practiced everywhere nowadays. But I think the whole world should take that as a lesson. Even for myself as a woman, I didn't grow up with this concept because here in the West, the concept is totally different. Females are seen as weak, as fragile. And when I started studying and learning more about Durga Devi and Kali and incorporating their energy through dance, I started realizing that concept more deeply in myself. And it has helped me a lot embracing my own personal power. So I think this is a lesson that should not be forgotten.
And you do feel that, embracing these concepts and these dance forms, it can help us women stay strong mentally and fight with all the odds of, our everyday life. I think it is so important that you're saying that it helped you to stay strong mentally.
Yes, it's true.
And I think it's true for all of us in this very stressful and competitive world. And I think mental health issues and coping with the challenges every day is quite a big thing. And as you were telling me, Eshani, in EKA company, you experiment with multiple things and you try to communicate those to the Western audiences while adhering to the classical roots. So what is the thing, do you think, what are the common elements of dance across various societies and cultures which can help us grow together?
I think the first thing is that when you dance, you connect with different layers of yourself that you don't do that usually in your daily activities. But when you dance, you are forced to go beyond yourself. You need to connect, first of all, to your body, and that automatically connects you to nature, to the physical forces of nature. And of course, we know that our body reflects our minds, which means that you also have to overcome your mental blocks so that you can express through your body. If you're not feeling secure, or if you're doubting yourself, the movements won't just come out. They won't come. So you are forced, if you want to move, if you want to dance and express your heart and your soul through dance, you really have to connect with all these different layers. So I think this is something that is universal and you can do it. That's why dance was maybe one of the strongest and the first expressions, artistic expressions all over the world. You don't need to speak a specific language. You don't need to understand much. You just need to feel and connect. And I think it goes to the root of everything. I can give an example. One of the videos that we're going to show, I guess, it's from a project that I've done a few years ago. It's called Porta Aberta in Portuguese. In English, it means open door, because we used to do rehearsals with open doors, because we wanted people to see how is the process of building a dance piece. It's very common that the audience see the artistic products ready, but they don't know the struggles and the process of the artists till the final product. So we thought it would be very interesting and even educational for people to understand how dances work. So I was working together with two other dancers, and they came from totally different fields, from hip hop and contemporary dance and even African dance. So we decided to work together and learn from each other. We wanted to see exactly what there is in common about our different dance styles and backgrounds. And it was a surprising experience for all of us. I started showing them the basics of Indian classical dance, the postures, the hasta mudras, and I was so very surprised of how easily they could get it. They could get the movements, which are not easy at all. And they were also surprised on how easily I got these hip hop and contemporary dance movements. And for me, that's a proof that dance is a universal language. And even if you practice different styles, there's also something in common. There's the body you do, the work you do with your body. And then you can express in different languages. You have to make small, slight changes, but then the language is the same.
That's brilliantly explained, Eshani. It's brilliantly explained. I mean, such a lucid and brilliant explanation. And we are going to see your videos. And just in a few words, can you tell us about your Into the Light project, which inspired a conference in Portugal? Just in a Just very brief.
Okay. So Into the Light project has a very special place in my heart. I love doing this project. I will try to explain it briefly. So I met this performer. She's called Smirna Kulenovic. She's from Bosnia, but she was living in Portugal at the time. And as we had this cultural center, she came to visit our center, our venue. It was called EKA Palace at the time. And as soon as we started talking, she revealed she was the granddaughter of a Sufi dervish. And I was so fascinated because I had already read a lot about this Sufi practice, and I felt there is a lot in common with the Bhakti process, because when these whirling dervishes, they're whirling, they're actually in trance. They are meditating while moving. And it is a complete surrender to God when they do that. And that's so beautiful and so touching. As soon as she told me that, I immediately told her, we have to do something together. We have to do, I don't know, some performance. We have to put both these languages together, because it's so obvious that they have so much in common. But I don't see people very often talking about these similarities. So we made a research and we didn't find anything. Not many dancers were putting these languages together. So we decided to do it. She accepted immediately. And as soon as we started talking about that, we just grabbed the notebook and wanted to see the similarities between Persian culture and Indian culture. And there are so many similarities. It was mind-blowing.
Exactly. And having said this, we are very, very keen to see a glimpse of those performances. Can we please have the videos now?
Look, I gotta keep praying, cause the Lord is my protection. If he's not, then I've been laying blood. The music hits the part You might be rolling with a couple G's, but in my words it means that you're a bum and going up the beat to say you got a big stack. You ain't bopping G, you're moving kinda bad, not cause the bop you haven't stopping me. I'm trying to make it out and straight on top of the league, and you can put your shit on Facebook, but that ain't dropping me. Guys wanna body me, chicks wanna fuck with me. Make movements 2010, hood hustle G. I don't need to rap, everybody's hating lately. I don't see the fans, niggas getting pyro in the ends when they see the straps. Other niggas make a U-turn when they see the black snow, so it's moving kinda wet. Snitching to the fence, wedge up, burst them in the head. What's the outcome of a little jazz? I like to give myself a little fill on a bit of breast. No nylon spot, and you can talk grease till
such breathtakingly beautiful compositions, and all I can say that each of your compositions shows the perseverance and the deeper understanding behind it. Fabulous, simply. To the next segment, we would be presenting a short video on Hampshire Puja and Cultural Association, presenting a concert for NHS, free musical evening with Ankush Bharadwaj. Can we please have the video?
Hi everyone, this is me Ankush Bharadwaj. I hope you all are doing really good. I know it has been really difficult for all of us due to this pandemic. But thankfully now the shoots of the spring can be seen. बसंत के आने की तैयारियां चल रही हैं. So HPCA is organizing Vasant Musical Evening with me to bring a smile on our faces. This program is for a noble cause and it is completely free. It's amazing. So again, my name is Ankush Bharadwaj and I'll see you all live on your screens on 20th of February. Together we all will have blast. Lots of love.
Thank you. Moving on to the next segment now, the NATYOGA segment. From this point, I think because we are heading towards the end of the program, we'll be happy to take up some quick questions from the audience. I'm sure the audience wants to know a lot from Eshani as well. So Eshani, I have been working in the field of dance psychotherapy, and I used dance as a psychotherapy to help the cancer patients and their caregivers. And it met with a very, very satisfactory response. In this context, I found it very interesting to know that you had told me that dance, yoga, meditation together can have healing powers. So, what, in your opinion, is the potential of these forms as a therapy, and how can they help in any difficulties, like be it mental illness, be it terminal illness, or any other difficulties? What is your opinion?
Well, my experience shows me that dance, at least this form of Indian classical dance, that's what I do, it is totally connected to yoga. It's impossible to separate both. They were born in the same culture, from the same concepts, and I consider that dance is meditating in movement. It's not different. So I started finding, when I was meditating or doing yoga asanas or dancing, it would create the kind of the same feeling while doing all the three of them. They were really, it started to make sense that the three of them should go together, because when we dance, we are, as I was mentioning before, we are connecting to different layers of ourselves, even unconscious layers. And when we meditate, that happens in an even more powerful way. We go to the spiritual level, but then with yoga, we also connected to the physical level, the emotional, the intellectual. So when we practice dance, yoga, and meditation together or in combination, we can actually, I'm laughing at the comment, we can actually go into each one of these different layers. So when we start bringing to light these unconscious aspects, when we started looking at them without fear, that's the beginning of cure. We start healing. Of course, if someone has a mental illness that is connected to some kind of brain chemicals, of course, maybe they need medication, they need therapy. Of course, we're not saying it's a substitute, but I believe practicing meditation, dance, and yoga will certainly help anyone create balance within themselves. That's what I could experience in my life, and that's why I decided to share this with people. So I decided to create this modality called NATYOGA, Natya plus yoga, so art performance plus yoga. Because I think if people start doing this in a regular basis, this will bring a really strong stability to their minds and to their lives.
Thank you for saying this so boldly and beautifully, Eshani. And I think what's being highlighted here that any difficulty, any medical condition, be it mental health illness, be it any other form of medical condition, of course, medical intervention is the first thing, is the first line of approach. But we should not forget the vast potential that dance, yoga, and all these forms have, which can support us in our journey of cure, in our journey of getting better. I mean, it is remarkable, and I would like to emphasize what you said. I mean, second, what you said, that yeah, it's not a substitute, but it can surely help us as a supportive therapy. I have experienced this myself as well, and it is so reassuring and so lovely to hear this from you. And I think the NATYOGA concept, I found it, I found it very, very exciting, this merging these things into one very, very powerful element. I mean, it's just a fantastic thing to do. So would you like to answer that question, Eshani? From which planet do you come from?
Well, I cannot answer because I don't know the answer.
There you go. You have the answer. Can I answer? May I answer for you? She comes from this planet Earth. So let's look at the videos of NATYOGA, please.
Sangacchadhvam samvadadhvam samvo manamsi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanjanana upasate samano mantrah samite samani samanam mana sahachittamesha samanam mantramabhimantrayeva samane namo havisha juhomi samani samana hridayani va samanamastu vo mano yatha va susahasati samanamastu vo mano yatha va susahasati. शिवायै सततं नमः नमः प्रकृत्यै भद्रायै नियताः प्रणताः स्मृताः रौद्रायै नमो नित्यायै गौरै धात्रै नमो नमः ज्योत्स्नायै चेन्दुरूपिण्यै सुखायै सततं नमः कल्याणै प्रणतां वृद्ध्यै सिद्ध्यै कुर्मो नमो नमः नैऋत्यै भूभृतां लक्ष्म्यै शर्वाण्यै ते नमो नमः
Looking at this, I myself could feel a sense of peace and tranquility. It was such a lovely and a peaceful experience, you know, just to watch. I wish I could watch more, but it's just for the paucity of time. I wish I could see some more videos, but it's a tranquil experience. And it's very encouraging to see so many young people learning, and you're like dissipating it to so many others as well. It's simply wonderful.
I already had the opportunity of working with kids, teenagers, adults, and also elderly people. And it's so interesting how these different groups react to it, but the impact is usually very positive, and I'm very happy for being able to spread this to all kinds of people.
I know, and I wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors. Coming to the last segment, which is visual arts. Eshani, when I saw your visual arts video, I saw it's like an amalgamation of storytelling. And as you were telling me, it's like it closely connects with your work on stage. So can you briefly tell a few words about that, please?
It's interesting because I hadn't seen it like that, but as you say, it could be a kind of a storytelling. Yes, it could. So I'm a visual artist and a dancer as well. So I cannot see these forms of artistic expression as disconnected. When I'm painting or drawing, I feel the movement of the arm, of the body. And when I'm dancing, it's like I'm painting on space with our movements, especially in Bharata Natyam, that is very, very clear because you have this very strict coordinate system. So when you put an arm like this, you know it's drawing a line in 45 degrees, so you actually can see the line. And as a visual artist, of course, when I'm dancing, I can help seeing the shapes I am doing with my body. So of course they have to be connected. And at the same time, when you are looking at the stage with performers, I compare it to a painting composition. It's a frame, and you are seeing the different elements of the composition. So it's impossible for me to separate them. And when I paint, I bring to my artwork the same themes, the same concepts I use in dance. It's part of my imaginary. So it's normal that they are interconnected, as you will be able to see.
It's a very, very interesting concept. And you are telling me, because as we know that we think that images are static. So you are telling me something about these moving shapes and how you use LED lights to manifest these moving shapes. So would you like to explain that part a bit as well?
Yes. So when we first started our project, EKA Unity is the name of our nonprofit arts organization. It started about 10 years ago. And the first project we tried, the first experience we've done, was trying to connect this very old dance tradition from India with new technologies, because we feel it is a timeless language that must be adapted to the culture we are living now. So what we I was sharing with Dylan. He's my husband and co-founder of EKA Unity, and he's a musician. He does electronic music. Some of the songs we've heard here were from him. And he's also very much into technology. So we decided to do this together. I was sharing with him this vision that for me, dancing is like painting in space, but I didn't know exactly how to express that in a way that people could actually see it. So he came up with this idea and he said, why don't we grab some LED lights and we put them in different parts of your body, and then we take long exposure pictures, and people will be able to see the movements we are doing. It's like you are drawing with light. So we made the experiment. We put lights on each one of my fingers, because we know that in dance we need to use each one of the fingers, then in the forehead, in the waist, in specific points of the skeleton. And then I started doing some excerpts of traditional choreographies, both from Odissi and Bharata Natyam, and then we started taking pictures, and we were in awe when we saw the results of the pictures. First, you could totally say which one was Bharata Natyam and which one was Odissi just by seeing the movements of the lights. In Odissi, you have these organic forms, and in Bharata Natyam, you have symmetric shapes. And the most amazing thing is when we found out, I was doing this excerpt of Mangala Charan. As you know, it's an offering. It was dedicated to Lord Ganesh. And the song, the poem, talks about Ganesh, how he has his trunk, and etc. And on that particular excerpt, we saw the shape of Ganesh. I was dancing, and with the lights, we saw clearly his shape. And I thought, no, this must be a coincidence. We have to repeat this and take the picture again. And again, the same result came out. So for us, it was the proof that our ancestors, when they conceived these dance forms, they were much, much aware of what they were doing. And they certainly knew there were hidden forms. So there is another layer of reading to these dances, still another one. So as if the dance was not complex enough with so many layers, now this extra one came in to us. And we did the same with the piece dedicated to Lakshmi Devi. It was Vasant Pallavi. And again, it appeared a form of a lotus with me in the center of the lotus, as if it was Lakshmi Devi herself. So it can't be a coincidence.
It's just magnificent. I mean, it's magnificent. It's magnificent to know, and like how you have like experimented and innovated in this fantastic way. I mean, I have no words. I simply have no words to say anything. So we have almost reached we're almost towards the end of our program. So without any further delay, let's see this magnificent piece. Eshani, I mean, your story will stay an inspiration to others, you know. And as John Torre was saying, that so much to learn. I mean, this 1 hour was so enriching and it was such an educational experience as well. There's so much to learn from you, and it's so encouraging to see a person from a different culture to embrace the core of Indian performing arts and do so many experimentations and come out with some brilliant consequences. So today we have reached the end of our program. Thank you so very much, Eshani, for giving your valuable time. And before I conclude, would you like to say just one line for the aspiring classical dancers or those from another culture planning to come into Indian performing arts?
Well, what I can say is that Indian culture is so much richer than people usually think, because there are so many layers of learning, of knowledge. And when you see the performances, when you listen to Indian classical music, you can feel it's beautiful, it's deep, it's interesting, but maybe you don't know the other layers. There are a lot of technicality. There are disconnection with mathematics, nature, geometry, science, philosophy, all in one form of art. So I really would like to challenge everyone to know more and to study more about this. And thank you very much for inviting me, for guiding so brilliantly this conversation. Thanks to Sangeet Foundation for allowing me to share my artistic experience here. Thank you very much.
It was an absolute pleasure to have you, Eshani. And today I have to conclude the program here. So thank you very much for joining us. And on behalf of Sangeet Foundation, a big thanks to Eshani Lasya and all the audience for staying with us for so long. And I wish you goodbye for now. Thank you so very much.